comment, subscribe, follow us. Ooh, did you just burp? Hello friends, family, and everyone in between. My name is Kaylin Edwards and this is my very random YouTube channel. Of course, what I have to say at the beginning of the video, because one of them is bothering me right now, I have 2 dogs and you will definitely hear feet tapping, maybe crying because Piper wants in my lap so bad. Are you happy? You feel like the center of attention now? Anyway, that is definitely not what my video is about, even though she begs to differ at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about naming characters and how I did it and how I named some of my characters. That is a really big part of the writing process, is naming your characters. And a lot of people I know end up having their characters named before they even have their like stories panned out. I think that's how my friend Caitlin is. She says that she wants to write a story now, and she pretty much has her character figured out. She just does not know what story they're in. And you know, I was in the same boat. For example, I knew that I wanted my character's name to be Mia. That has changed due to a lot of my old high school friends and classmates having kids and naming their child Mia. So I changed that to Maya. One is at least on the same line as the name that I originally wanted, and 2, I like the singer. Maya the singer, anybody know? You should know. If you don't know, you should look her up. I have Maya as my main character, and again, like, I had her name planned before I even knew everyone else's name, who she was related to, what her life was gonna be like. I had all that planned out way beforehand. So for you guys who are working on your books and you're naming characters, and maybe even if you have your main character name but you need to name other characters, maybe these are some of the ways that you can get around to figure out how you should name them and how I've done it myself. The websites that I use when I'm looking up the meaning of names, because that has helped me stay with the character. If I know that this name has a significance or a meaning in something, then you know, it helps me in building them and staying true to their character. And it also is just symbolic. It just is. So what I found on the 3 websites I use is babynames.com, behindthename.com, and nameberry.com. There are so many different websites you can use to figure out what the meaning of a name is. And a lot of the times what I've noticed is even though this name may mean something in German, it doesn't mean that exact same thing in Korean. For Maya, it means mine, and that is simple, and you can take that however you want. But to me, the mine is a little dark in the context that I use it. It's way more possessive and not so endearing or sweet. Another translation I found for that name was wished for child and bitter, which, I mean, one of those I relate to more than the other, of course, wished for. And I think mine, wish for, child, and bitter all sum up my character very well. So yeah, when you're naming your characters, look up the meaning behind the names. It can help you, like I've said, in writing them. Maybe you can end up figuring out, like, I may not like this spelling of the word, but I like this spelling of the word. And that actually matters too, because again, your reader's going to be reading your book. They aren't like saying it in their head so many times. So if you want it pronounced a certain way, or the way that the letters are arranged look better on paper, then go with that. Something else that I've used in naming my characters that I know a lot of other authors have used too are names that are just significant to you or based on someone that you know. I would not say to give them the exact same name, because if you are close to that person and the way that you represent them in your book is just very crappy, you may have something to talk about with that person, because people who read your book that are close to you and they see their name in that, they're automatically going to think you're talking about them, even if you're not. For me, I have a character named Bethany. I have also a friend named Bethany, but these 2 people are not the same. Even though they have the same name, I just really like the name for the character in that book. However, I do have characters, I don't know, trying to decide which ones I can say that no one's gonna, oh, okay, never mind, screw that, I know who. I have characters in my book that represent people in my real life, and they have very similar names and sometimes the same name. For example, I have a character in my book named Penelope. Piper, my dog, her middle name is Penelope, and I wanted to put her name somewhere in my book without using Piper, because obviously I'm a charm fan and I'm not just going to use a bunch of charm names in my book. Even though I would love to do that, I'm not going to do that. I do have a Penelope in my book, and this person is based off of Piper in the way that they are the complete opposite. Piper is a little ditzy, my dog. She's a little ditzy. I don't want to say she's not smart. She's learning. While Penelope is really self-assured, she's very smart, she's very on top of her stuff. She's like that go-to girl. Like if something bad is happening, I'm running to Penelope to get help. I think that also helps with character development. If you know someone who's very close to this character, like I need a character that is smart, but they're really self-conscious and their favorite color is green. If you know someone who's very close to that and that will help you in developing your character and you know their name, you can take their name and kind of switch it to be something else. Another one to also think about when naming your characters is make sure the name fits in the world that you're in. You may like a certain name, but if it's not in the context in which the world you're in, then it's just going to stand out, it's going to feel awkward, and it's going to lose, because already trying to convince your reader, especially if your world is not set in the world that we're in now, trying to convince your readers that this world is real, to buy into it, is going to be really hard if the way that they act and their names just don't fit within the context and the world that they're living. And the example that I wrote, because I was trying to think of examples, was Brittany the Dragon. I don't know if I could take Brittany the Dragon very seriously unless it was just that kind of book. If it was Lord of the Rings and the hobbits went into a cave and they met Brittany the Dragon, I would think that shit was hilarious. This is not a story about a dragon named Brittany.
This is a story about a girl named Lucky.
And I don't think anyone would buy into that. It would be very humorous. No offense to any Brittany's out there, but I do not consider Brittany to be a good dragon name. If you end up using Brittany as the name of your dragon, go for it, boo-boo. Just know that if it's supposed to be a serious moment, I probably will not take it seriously. I will probably side-eye it. I'm sure other people can think of other examples, like, I don't know, Carl the Ghost. That might work, but also like Carl the Ghost, I'm not really, and he's supposed to be a scary ghost. I don't think I'll be afraid of Carl. And the last tip that I'm gonna leave you guys with is, even if the name and the meaning don't, you know, fit within the context of who the character is, if it's significant to you, then use it. Use names that mean something to you, that you're passionate about. If your character is very like pure and humble and just angelic and that girl, and you find a name that is fitting, that means those things, but you don't like the name, don't use it, because at the end of the day, whether you get published, you self-publish, whatever happens to it, you have to live with that decision. You're writing it, you have to reread it, and you're editing it, and you pass that name every single time and you cringe or you hate it, and that is not the feeling that you want to get when you look at the name. Then change it. Even if the name means something like warrior and your character is a pansy, like, it's okay, it's all right. If anything, that could be really symbolic. As a reader, personally, I don't look up the names of every character that I'm reading. If it's something unique where it's like I've never heard of that, I may look it up, only because I'm trying to understand how I'm supposed to read it. If you're passionate about that name and that's something that you love, then use it, because at the end of the day, you should not be writing for other people as much as you are writing for yourself. So I thank you guys for watching this. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Maybe this just validated your own ideas and thoughts around naming your characters, or inspired you in naming some of your other characters. The main objective for me, and I know for a lot of other people, is just to get it written down, because that is the hard part in editing. But getting it written down can be the real hard part if you've never done it before. If this is your first go around and you're constantly going back and forth between ideas, literally just get your ideas on page and come back to naming later. I can't tell you how many times I've changed some of my characters' names because at the beginning I didn't know their name, but it wasn't that important, and then I went back and was like, you know what, this is who they are, this name fits them, this is the name I like. So yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see any of my previous videos, go back and look at them. At this point, I think I have 2 uploaded around writing my own novel and yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. We will see you all next time. Bye.